If you're new to playing jazz guitar, then the amount of chords you might come across to begin with is quite intimidating. And in this lesson, I'm going to show you 12 beginner jazz guitar chords that can get you through most standards. I'm going to give you the chord shapes you need, suggested fingerings as a PDF, all you need to get started, and I'll give you some helpful practice tips too. And if this is the first time on my channel, my name's Andy and I do jazz guitar lessons every Wednesday and Saturday. There are many different types of chords in jazz, but there are just 4 main chord types that you need to get used to first. And they are major 7, minor 7, dominant 7th, and minor 7, flat 5. And what I like to do is to know them in 3 different places to begin with. And that is with the root on different bass strings. So the root is the bottom note of the chord, the note which gives it its chord name. So the root of a C chord is a C, for instance. And we're going to do each chord on root on the E string, the A string, and the D string. So let's kick off with the major 7s. So the root E position shape is like so. So C major 7 root E, we've got finger 1 on the E string, fret 8, finger 3 on the D string, fret 9, little finger, fret 9 on the G, middle finger, fret 8 on the B. And just check you've got 4 notes ringing out. If you haven't, make sure you've got sufficient pressure, your fingers are nice and close to the fret. That's our first shape. With all of these shapes, you want to check that the strings that we want muted are by fingers resting against them, and that the notes we do want to ring out clear, so just check those individually. They want to be ringing clearly, no muting, no buzz or anything. Make sure your fingers are pressing hard enough, but only hard enough to get the notes to come out. You don't want to push too hard, you don't want to push too light, you want just the optimum pressure to get the notes to ring clearly. So that's our first shape, major 7. Now the cool thing about all of these shapes, they're all movable. This one's called C major 7 because the note here, the first finger's playing, is a C. If we move that finger down to fret 7 on the E string, that note is a B. Form the chord from there, and we've got B major 7. Move it down 1 fret, B flat major 7. So if you know the notes on this string, you could find all 12 major 7 chords. F, F sharp, G major 7, G sharp major 7, or A flat major 7, or keep going up. Every time it becomes a different major 7 chord. Now we can also play that chord on the A string. So if we move to the A string, we find the note C, which is at fret 3, and we build this shape. Some of you might recognise this as an A major 7 chord, which is an open chord like that. So this has got 5 strings this time. We only want to mute the big E string, and I'm doing that by letting my fingertip rest against the E string to do that. So check you got 5 notes. Sounds like that. Movable again. Move it up 1, it becomes C sharp major 7. Move it up again, it becomes D major 7. So again, you need to know the notes on the A string as well as the E string. And the final major 7 shape, very nice sounding, this one. This is at fret 10 on the D string because that note's a C. And you're going to bar the 3rd finger on the top 3 strings. And again, let the first finger rest against the A string so that it mutes it. Just try and avoid hitting the E string with your plectrum or your fingers, whatever you're using. Again, check for clear notes. So C major 7 could be this. And you'll see the benefits of knowing 3 ways later. Next chord type, minor 7. So C minor 7 is our first shape on the E string. We're using that same note C, fret 8, but we've got a different shape because the chord contains different notes. So this one, we've got the middle finger doing the E string, and we've got the 3rd finger barred across those 3 notes. Now if you find that difficult, there are other ways to do it. You could do it with 4 fingers, like that. Some people even do it with their thumb maybe on the E string, but this is my favourite way. Why? Because the little finger is free to add stuff in, and the first finger is ready to do like a bass run and so forth. But whatever way is most comfortable, but that's your C minor 7, sorry, on the E string. Now on the A string again we find C, there at fret 3, and we form, you might recognise this as an A minor 7 shape. Again, muting the E string, and we got nice sound. And then the D string, find C on the D string, fret 10. This is like a D minor 7 shape, this one. It's a nice one. Don't think there's other ways to finger that. That's kind of all 4 fingers getting in on that one. So we've got C minor 7 being E string, A string, D string. Now Now, next chord type, dominant seventh. So again, all C on root E, A and D. We've got this one here. So we've got the A and the E string muted like the first chord we did. Check for clear notes. You can, it does use all 4 fingers, or if you prefer, and if you like using your thumb over the neck, you could use your thumb for the E string note and do that. That's more than possible for some people. We find it on the A string, again finding C on the A string. This is just a C7 shape, but we don't want any open strings. So let your 3rd finger rest against the E string there. What I've done is I've angled the 1st finger not as upright. I'm not like dead upright like you would be if you're trying to play like a ordinary C chord. It's resting against the E string beneath to stop it. So it gives us that one. And then on the D string we've got this one, which you might recognise the D7 shape from. It's always good to look at chords and think, is there anything similar I've done before? Is it like any of these kind of open chord shapes on the guitar? Because a lot of them, they all move up the neck. And our final chord type is minor 7 flat 5. This is a more tense sounding chord. So we've got the E string position like this. Again, the A and the E string muted. So you've got your 1st finger on fret 6 of the B string, middle finger on fret 8 of the E string, then fingers 3 and 4 on fret 8 of D and G. And the A string position is both these muted. Let fingers rest against those strings on the outside. And then the D string position being at fret 10. Smoky sounding chord. Again, let the finger rest against the A string to kill that one. So as you can see, the important things are muting unwanted strings by letting fingers rest against them. Sometimes that would be with the 1st finger being flat already in the chord and just let the fingertip rest against it. Other times it would be where, in normal chord playing and rhythm guitar, you'd have fingers really upright so you don't mute strings. But with these sort of jazz guitar chords, we don't want these open strings coming out, unlike your D chords, G chords and stuff like that. So whereas a finger might be upright with the knuckle bent there, you might have it sort of halfway between being a bar and sort of different positions. You're going to get yourself in to play a note at the same time as stopping the string below or above coming out. The other thing that's really important is learn the notes on those strings, because then you'll be able to find this chord, right? So if you just learn the chords that I've given you, you've just got lots of different ways of playing C major 7, C minor 7, C dominant 7th and C minor 7 flat 5, which is great. But actually, if you're smart about it, that C major 7, you could go, I've just learned 12 chords, because I've got F, F sharp, G major 7, G sharp major 7 or A flat major 7, A major 7, B flat major 7, B major 7, C major 7, D flat major 7, D major 7, E flat major 7, E major 7, F major 7, back to where we started. And you can do that with all of the shapes that I've given you. So be smart about it, learn the roots and work out where they are. Now this brings me to practice. Obviously you need to get used to the shapes themselves first. You need to get used to the fingers, be consistent with how you fret them, which fingers go down first. I mean, ultimately they'll all go down at the same time, but to start with you might be like, right, I'll put that one down first, that one then that one, but eventually it all happening at the same time. Then you want to, be able to find it for other chord types. So if you know C major 7, you want to be able to find G major 7 and like that. And a great tool for this is what's called the circle of fifths. So if I put it on the screen, we start at 12 o'clock and we work our way around, and we're going to go counterclockwise. So we are going to start at C and then the next chord will be F. So if you took just one chord type, you could be right, C major 7. Let's find my C's. There it is on the E string. There's C major 7 on the A string. There it is on the D string. Next you go round by one. It said counterclockwise, so we go to F. So we need F major 7, find F on the E string, which is at fret 1, find the F major 7 shape. You then find F on the A string, which is at fret 8, find the F major 7, the equivalent of the C major 7 shape on that string. Then we find F on the D string at fret 3, find the major 7 shape on the D string. Let's put that in time and show you how it would work. You do it slowly, but you go right. C on the E string, then the A string, then the D string. This is just being really systematic about them. Then F, 2, 3, 4 on the E string, F major 7 on the A string, then the D string. Then we go around the circle to the next one, which is B flat. So I need to find B flat major 7 on the E string, which is fret 6, then fret 1 on the A string, then fret 8 on the D string. and so on. You could work your whole way around. You know, that's quite a bit of work, but that would help you learn where all the roots are. And you'll probably find that in some places a certain shape is comfortable, and then move it down or up and it doesn't feel as comfortable for your hand. That's fairly normal. You will get used to these shapes. They're just a bit different to more traditional bar chords and open chord shapes. Anyway, if you're new here, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget you can grab all the chord shapes from my website and the PDFs from today. And join me every Wednesday and Saturday for jazz guitar lessons. Thanks for tuning in. See you again soon.